get me through Wednesday. Today is very special Wednesday because today is my wife's birthday. Today we celebrate her and for another year of life that God has given us and given to her. I'm always excited to celebrate the day of her birth. So if you are friends with my girlfriend, I call her my bride, reach out to her, wish her a happy birthday. But get me through Wednesday. Today I want to deal with something that I dealt with actually this past Sunday. I dealt with the subject of pain. And pain is something that I don't know if we even talk about it, if we even deal with it properly. But pain is something that can be very very, very interesting, because pain can paralyze us, pain can stifle us, pain can cause us not to move forward. And a lot of times pain is reactionary. Sometimes we deal with it in a way to wherein we suppress it. There's pain that we've suffered, even sometimes as growing up, from kids to teenagers to young adults. I'm always trying to minister to my kids as far as them being in high school now. Don't allow for things to that happen to you to become painful, because sometimes you will suppress that, and that will not come out until you are further along in life and you're trying to figure out why you're stifled, why this hurdle is so hard to get over, because you didn't deal with the pain that you were affected with in the past. So I just want to deal with that subject, that topic today, because I think all of us deal with pain, and some of us deal with pain differently. Those that are mothers who've given birth to a child, that pain during childbirth is off the Richter scale, if you will. So physical pain we can deal with, but I'm talking about the pain that we deal with internally that sometimes people don't see. If you hit your hand with a hammer, people can kind of see that pain. You feel that pain physically. But that internal pain, that pain that is talked about in the scriptures over in 2 Corinthians, where Paul talks about this thorn in my flesh, that if you look at that text in 2 Corinthians, it talks about Paul having that thorn in his flesh. The funny thing is that he cried out to God 3 times to remove that thorn. At the end of that story, or if you read that text, you'll notice that God didn't remove the thorn. Even though he cried out, he didn't remove the thorn. So what I want to lay on you today is that pain is part of the process, which means that this process called life, we got to go through some pain. We got to go through some painful moments. We got to realize that life is about pain. It's not always going to be a bed of roses. It's not always going to be that neo lifestyle or that champagne life. We got to deal with some stuff. So pain is part of the process. But not only is pain a part of the process, but pain is a process. But then there's 2 things I want you to realize before we get out of here this morning. One is your provision. One is your purpose. Pain allows for you to go through some things, but you got to lean into it. You can't do it like when you touch a hot pot, you react and you pull away. You've got to lean into that pain, because on the other side of that pain is your provision. What God was trying to get Paul in that text in 2 Corinthians to understand is that, pain is part of your process, but I got some stuff for you on the other side. But you got to go through this pain to get it. And I know someone I'm talking to that you're going through that, and that's kind of hard to deal with. How can I go through this thing? You've got to lean into it. If Paul was able to do it, Paul was tortured, Paul was shipwrecked, Paul was hungry, Paul was left for dead. but he never turned away from his purpose. So there's purpose within that pain process. Somewhere within that process, you're going to find your purpose. And I'm not giving you anything that I'm not living currently. Pain can be something as severe as not being able to supply the needs of your family. Pain is being rejected from friends and loved ones who you've given your life for. Pain is realizing that that job that you've toiled on and over, early mornings, late nights, you walk in and they tell you that your services are no longer needed. That's painful. Pain is waking up one morning and realizing that you're making breakfast, but your partner is packing his or her bags. That's painful. Painful is realizing that you've given your life to this child that you brought into the world, that you put everything else aside for, and for that child to grow up and not even be able to pick up the phone and call and check on you as a parent. That's painful. Pain is being in a society in which you're not recognized for your character or your or valued for your knowledge, but you are looked at for the color of your skin. That's painful. You got to lean into that pain and realize that God has something else on the other side of that pain process, which is your provision, which is what the fruit is, what he wants to give you. But within that is more valuable than your provision is your purpose. You'll find your purpose in your pain. So whatever pain that you're going through today, I just want to encourage you, be sure you stop in the midst of that pain and try to find out where your purpose is. Pain is part of the process. It also has provisions, but most of all, it has your purpose. Let's go find it today. I'm Pastor Said, and I'm out. Be blessed. Love you.